Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today we're going to be talking about this new Epix series called From. Just a quick recap on what's been happening so far, episodes 1 through 5, because this show is crazy. Got me shook. So we're going to be talking about it, and let's start off with episode 1 real quick. So when it first came on, I said, hold up, what's going on? There was a man walking around town shaking this bell, reminding me of Game of Thrones. Then we get to this diner where we see the waitress telling the customers, okay, let's go, time to go, nighttime coming. And I said, hold up, no, I'm not even done yet. You didn't even ask me if I wanted to-go box. I'm not leaving out of here without a to-go box. So they all get kicked out the door, and then we still see this man walking around town shaking his bell. Everybody running inside. Hold up. Why is there a card halfway in the pool and no one's gotten it out yet? So anyway, we still see this man. We find out later that his name is Boyd, and we see him walking inside this office, and we see 96 days without incident. And I said, what kind of incident? And why is it necessary to write it down? But then soon we find out why it's necessary and why everybody out here is afraid of the nighttime. Thanks to this man right here named Frank. Frank got drunk last night. Couldn't make it home because he was too drunk. So in the morning, he wakes up from his drunken night and goes straight home. But when he gets there, it's a whole crowd in front of his house. He instantly gets slapped. Not once, but 2 times by the sheriff. He said, when you have a family and kids, you nail the window shut. You nail the window shut. Come here. Come look what you did to your family. His wife and daughter looked like they got carved like a pumpkin. Their insides was gone. All you saw was rib bone. All you saw was rib cage. They had no insides left. So Boyd was like, take him away. Go lock him up. So we see what happened to Frank's family. And when you first watch it, you're like, this stupid. This little girl's stupid. They deserve it. But then as you keep watching it, you learn that the kids are more intimidated by these monsters. And yeah, monsters. So this old lady comes to the window and she's like, I'm your grandma. Let me in. First of all, why are you talking like that? And then the little girl even said, you don't look like my grandma. So yeah, close the window and walk away. Close the window and walk away. But no, she didn't do it. And then the little girl's mom come behind her saying, that's not your grandma. Why are you so calm, lady? Why are you so calm when you know what's going on? That's when you run to your daughter, knock her to the floor and tell her, girl, hide. Close the window and hide. But the little girl ends up opening the window for this lady who obviously doesn't look like her grandma and ends up getting her and her mama killed. And kind of also ends up getting her dad killed too, since he wasn't home to protect the family and nail the window shut. His punishment was to spend the night in this shack, a box made out of wood with no talisman. That rock is supposed to keep you safe. I guess his family didn't have one either. I don't know what was going on with that. And since he had no protection and was out at night, the monsters tore through that box and killed him too. He doesn't end up dying until episode 3, but I just figured I'd tell y'all the whole story about him since I was on a roll. So basically, these people are stuck in this town. There's no way to get out, and they have to be inside of their house before nighttime comes with a talisman so they can be protected from these monsters. So we also met this family in episode 1. They got lost in their RV on the road. They had a detour, ended up in this town, and is now stuck in it. They thought they were on the right track, but they ended up back where they started from. They see this crowd of people at the funeral for the mother and daughter that just got killed. So they decided to stop and ask, how do you get out of here? Where's the main road? So that's when Sheriff Boyd told them, it's right up there. Just keep going and you'll see it. And when he said that, he looked suspicious. I said, uh-oh, something wrong with that. So while they're on the road, they see this tree blocking the road. And then they see these crows flying in the sky. And I said, uh-oh, this reminds me of the Bird movie. Don't nothing come good from this. Then they get into this horrible accident. They end up driving off the road into this ditch. The daughter hurts her back. The mom is knocked out cold. The little boy has a stick through his leg, and the dad is stuck. He can't move either. The driver who was in this other car involved in the accident was able to make it out the car and go get help. And that's when Officer Boyd and the other sheriff goes to help them. They call the doctor, the only doctor in town, to come help this family in this RV. Boyd tells his son that he doesn't get along with, that there's been an accident, go help this family. So his son and other people go and help this family try to get out this RV. Everyone ends up getting out of the RV except for this little boy Ethan, because he's stuck to the coffee table. He got the coffee table leg stuck in his leg. His dad ends up staying behind with him while the doctor is trying to take this stick out of his leg, while the wife and daughter leaves with Boyd's son to go back to this house before night comes, because guess what? The monsters are about to come. These people don't know what's going on. They're like, what y'all talking about? So they end up hanging this talisman in front of the RV to be protected from these monsters, and they're just hoping and praying that it works. So nighttime has come and we see the monsters walking calmly with this weird smile on their face. And I said, oh my God, are they gonna make it? And that's where it goes off, and now we're in episode 2. Meanwhile, Boyd's son and this other sheriff are trying to get the mother and daughter protected somewhere safe before night comes, but they end up getting a flat from this spike strip that Boyd and the other sheriff put down earlier to try to stop the family from circling around town, because they knew that they were getting nowhere. They were going to put them out their misery. So because they now have a flat, they have to run to this house for safety. And by the time they get there, it's dark and the monsters are out trying to intimidate. They almost got the daughter, but it didn't work. So the sheriff and everybody was begging to be let inside this house because it's dark and the monsters are out now. The people inside the house wasn't even sure if they were really people or if they were monsters, but the leader of the house was like, just let them in. So they ended up being safe. But the mother and daughter are tied up because the people at this colony house don't trust them. They eventually end up getting untied and find out more about what's going on in this town. But back to this second car that was involved in the accident, it had a second person in it, the driver's friend. And he's funny and annoying at the same time. But the driver ended up making it to the clinic. He was recovering, but then ended up getting killed by this psycho girl named Sarah. She's also the girl who works in the diner who was kicking everybody out. She stabbed him right in the throat because the monsters was talking to her in her head and told her to. They also told her to leave the door open so they can come in there at night, and that's just what she did. They were able to come in there and kill the nurse and her patient, and the patient ended up being the sheriff's dad. So Sheriff Kenny, the doctor, and the priest end up going to this clinic, and they see the nurse dead. And Sheriff Kenny is, just hoping that his dad is okay, but unfortunately, he is not. Little Ethan finally gets the stick out of his leg and is reunited with his mom and sister. Ethan ends up seeing this weird little boy smiling and waving at him through the window, and I said, oh hell. His sister asked him if he was okay. He was like, yeah, but Ethan is the only one who can see this little boy. But what's really extra weird about it is that Ethan is seeing this little boy during the day, and I thought that you can only see monsters at night. But is this little boy even a monster? I don't know. But then we go into episode 3. The family who was in the accident is getting shown around town by the priest, and the priest lets them know that they have to choose to live either in the colony house or down in town. He ends up taking the mother and father to this house that the mother and daughter just died in. Blood is still all over the room, and I'm like, there's no other houses. They have to live in this house where there was just a gruesome murder a day ago. But anyway, the day has come to choose where they want to live because they can't take it back. Once they say it, they're stuck there. So the mom, dad, and Ethan say that they want to live in town. And the daughter, Julie, says she wants to live in the colony house. She went last, so the family was shook. And she's dumb because I don't know who in their right mind would want to live with a group of people they don't even know. We see Frank dying in this episode. We already talked about it. But what we didn't talk about is how Boyd was trying to get him to leave town because he didn't want him to die. He said that the box was meant to just scare people so that they would act right. But Frank came back and put Boyd on blast. He was like, I appreciate what you were trying to do, but I want to be with my girls. If you don't shut up, Why you gotta say it in front of a crowd of people like that? But yeah, Frank gets put in the box and killed by monsters. And now we're gonna talk about Jade, because Jade is so annoying but yet kind of funny. He doesn't believe that this is really going on. He thinks his friend that was in the accident with him is putting on this show for some kind of reason. He thinks the whole town is putting on a show for just him. But Sheriff Kenny ended up showing him his friend buried in the ground to let him know this is not a joke. And that's when he finally came to his senses. So little Ethan is now walking around with a stick as a crutch because of that hole in his leg, and he sees this weird man outside, Victor, being creepy. And he's being nosy like little kids are, asking him all these questions, not having any stranger danger senses. I guess he never got taught that. But Victor was outside checking to see if the trees have moved. And I'm like, if this doesn't make you run away from somebody, I don't know what would. But Ethan still stands there, and he was like, oh, I thought you was outside looking for the little boy who's always out here. He's never inside. We're friends. And then that's when Victor says, when you see him again, tell him I said hello. Excuse me, what? And then that's when Ethan's sister Julie forces him to go back inside the house after she was supposed to be watching him in the first place. So in episode 4 is when we find out that the trees have moved 4 inches. Victor just had to go and tell Ethan this when Ethan was out for breakfast with his daddy at the diner when his dad walked away to go to the bathroom and cry. He also drew Ethan a picture of the little boy with some crayons and asked him if this was him. Ethan was like, you're a grown-up and you're using crayons? Kids always gotta throw some shade, but Ethan does let him know that this is the boy that he saw outside. Ethan's dad comes out the bathroom and sees this man talking to his kid, and he roughs him up, kicks him out the diner, says, don't you ever talk to my son again. This is a little boy. That doesn't stop him though, because Victor goes to their house, tells Ethan to come outside. We gotta find this boy. Tells him that the little boy that he saw has been gone for a long time, and we have to find out why he's back. And Ethan goes with him. Victor is very childlike. He's also very old, but he's also very childlike. So maybe that's why he's fond of him. He uses crayons and also walks around with a lunchbox. Of course, the family is in an uproar when they find out that Ethan is missing, but he's okay because Victor is not trying to hurt this kid. Also in this episode, we find out that Jim and Tabitha, the mom and dad, were planning on getting a divorce, but that looks like that's on halt. So Sarah, the one that the monsters talk to commit their crimes during the day, sends Sarah another message telling her to kill the boy. And she has a seizure on the floor and gets sent to the clinic. Which brings me to episode 5. Sarah starts becoming friends with Ethan, which, hello parents, red flag. This teenage girl, almost grown, wants to hang out with your little 8-year-old boy, probably younger, coming over to the house on the merry-go-round. Did that accident knock all the sense out of y'all? It looks like it. So as soon as she got out of that clinic, she was on a mission to kill Ethan because the monsters told her that if she killed him, that everybody would be able to go home. Her brother knew that his sister was crazy. He knew about the first incident about the door being open. And he knew something else went down, but she just wouldn't tell him. So finally, her brother told the priest about what his sister has done. So they go to try to find her. They go to the diner because she works there, but she wasn't there. They found out from a customer that she was at the barn with Ethan. Ethan's mom was at the barn too, but Sarah had locked her up, so she couldn't get out. Sarah starts to try to kill Ethan with this little knife thing that she stole from the clinic, but she gets stopped by her brother because her brother runs up. Ethan is able to run away, but then she ends up slicing her brother's throat up, killing her own brother. So she freaks out and runs away, and nobody can find her. So we see the Boyd asking the EMT doctor, whatever she is, if she thinks that this place is making people sick because his hand is starting to hurt. We saw him at the cemetery telling his wife, because she died, that his hand is starting to be just like his dad's. He's telling her that the clock is ticking and that he has to get these people home. We also found out that he's the one that discovered the talisman, so I guess he's feeling obligated to save everybody. But let me know if you're watching From, and if not, do you plan on watching it? And if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.